Hey everybody, it's First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich. It is Saturday. It is a miserable day across the Carolinas, but we're talking about the chance for more flooding, and I'm going to highlight some of the severe weather to the west. I posted something about the severe weather west, and I always get a lot of questions about, is that severe weather going to head our way? Trust me, if it was going to head our way, I would say something. I wouldn't post about weather in another part of the country and say, oh, by the way, I'm going to leave out the fact that it's going to impact us. So let me kind of settle all that information that I'm getting questions about first. So here's the system. Obviously, not a lot has changed. You guys know this is going to be day 11 or 10 in a row with rain, and tomorrow could be day 11. But here's the thing. The whole weekend is not a total washout, and I'm going to show you why. We've obviously got plenty of light rain over us right now. It's coming down just about everywhere. Now I'm going to turn off the radar real quickly and pause this because the flood watch has been expanded to most of the Charlotte metro area and all of western North Carolina. So flooding is our biggest concern as this system continues to move our way. Now I'm going to turn this off and we're going to turn the radar back on. So let me go back here and I'll turn the radar back on and you can see the radar return. Now what's going to happen here is this is a very powerful storm back to the west. This is the same storm system, by the way, which brought the crazy snow to Southern California, parts of Arizona, New Mexico. Now, the reason we're not going to see a bunch of severe weather here in the Carolinas, couple reasons. One, this system is moving in this general direction. So the severe weather threat is going to be here. And as the storm moves up there, that means most of the energy goes to our north. And the timing of this moving our way overnight and early tomorrow means we're going to be generally cool. The fact that temperatures today are generally in the 40s, you can thank the miserable, cold, damp air over us for kind of saving our behinds, if you will, because that northeast wind is keeping things very stable here. And when that cool, moist air is sitting over us, that doesn't allow for thunderstorms to develop. Now, it creates a lot of precipitation, and that's why temperatures in the 40s with warm air riding up and over it tends to produce a lot of rain. But this is the graphic I posted earlier. This is a severe weather threat today. Pretty significant severe weather threat from Nashville to Jackson, Mississippi to Memphis. Now, naturally people think this is going to move east, but it's really not. Most of the energy goes up here and the moisture goes here. So it splits apart and becomes less of an issue for us as we go into tomorrow. So if everyone worried about the severe weather threat, the bigger concern, honestly, is going to be flooding today. And even though this system moves up here, we're going to see really strong winds behind the cold front as it blasts into the region. So let me pull up the model data here and show you what's going to happen as we go through tonight and tomorrow and why the weekend's not a total washout. I'm going to show you. So let's show you how this unfolds. So this is the guidance, the short range guidance. And you notice the storms over here. This is why the severe weather threat is highest to our west. You see this line of storms developing here as we go into the evening hours. And this is where the threat is. This is where we're going to have severe weather here from Memphis down to Jackson. And just to show you, whoops, I'm going to back that up for a second. We'll back it up so you can see how strong the storms are. They're a very potent storm system moving through the Mid-South. Now, for folks in the Carolinas, this is why it's not much of a threat. Notice the timeline here. We go into the overnight hours. Now, remember, temperatures over us right now are in the 40s. It's not going to warm up today. And as we go into the overnight, it actually even gets cooler. So two things happen, as I mentioned earlier. Most of the wind energy with this system, or upper level energy, starts going up here into the Midwest. And at the same time, the atmosphere is very cool here. So we're losing the upper level energy for severe weather. And we also have stable air at the surface. So while I do expect a line of showers to move through here early tomorrow morning, notice the time frame up here, 5 o'clock in the morning. This line moves through the area. And look how weak it is. It's just a line of, now there may be some gusty winds with it because this is the actual cold front moving through. As it blasts through the area, notice it's just rain. There's nothing convective or thunderstorms with it, and it's done by noon tomorrow. So behind it, we're actually going to see really dry air. So the weekend is not a total washout. Today is horrible. Tomorrow, if you can make it to lunchtime, the afternoon looks spectacular. Temperatures are going to be really warm behind this system as well. But there is a threat with this system, not in the severe weather standpoint, but more of what I would call environmental or synoptic winds. And what I mean by that is, I'm going to bring up the wind gust map here from the same model. And again, this is very bright colors here. So let me load this real quickly. It'll take a second to load all this, but there's going to be very strong winds associated with this system as it moves into the Midwest. Now, as this loads, you can see that this is in knots up here. I don't know why this is in knots and not miles per hour, but this will give you an idea of how strong these winds are going to be. So let me pause this here as it's loading. and we'll go through tonight and tomorrow. And you notice there's not much wind at all here because we're wedged in. But as this system approaches tomorrow, the wedge is going to break out. So you can actually see, it's kind of cool to see this on the guidance because you can see kind of where the cold air wedge is. There's no winds mixing down to the surface. All these strong winds here and here, we're kind of safe from the really strong winds until the front gets here tomorrow morning. As it moves through on the back side of the front, you'll see these really strong winds move into the mountains. And I'm going to kind of show you, these are gusts. So these aren't these aren't sustained winds. This is tomorrow afternoon. Now, even across Charlotte, we could have gusts to 35. So while we might not have severe weather with this system, boy, are the winds going to be incredibly strong. You think it's bad here. The winds up here in the Midwest, in the Great Lakes, they're talking about a catastrophic wind event up here in the mountains. Just to show you, on Lake Erie, they could have gusts to hurricane force, which means western New York and parts of Ohio, Pennsylvania, and even parts of Michigan. You're going to see, just trust me, this is going to be a big story when the weekend's over. Massive power failure and outages in the Northeast and flooding from water flashing out of the Great Lakes. Because remember, that water is going to, and ice is going to get pushed on shore. So we go through tomorrow, and you can see the winds, I don't know why it went down there, are going to be really strong in the mountains. I suspect we'll see a high wind warning issued for the mountains here shortly for tomorrow. You can see Grandfather Mountain, that's right about Grandfather Mountain. We might get another record wind gust up there. So while we're not looking at, severe weather here, doesn't mean we're not going to have really, really strong winds with this front. That's more of a part of this storm being so strong as it moves in. But again, here, let me turn everything back on here. Current radar, you can see it is a miserable day across the Carolinas. Temperatures are in the upper 30s to low 40s. And that cold air, as miserable as it is, folks, is going to save us from severe weather as that system to the west heads our way. Of course, I'll be posting updates tonight, tomorrow, all through this. Remember, you can count on me. I'll be posting them here on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.